Her tiny fingers shouldn't have been shaking like that when they wrapped around my hand. So small they barely held on. "Uncle," she murmured, eyes glued to the floor. I don't want to head back home." The way her voice hung there, flat and empty, grabbed me by the gut. Not scared, not sad, just hollow, like someone had already scooped out everything that made her a kid. I dropped to one knee to catch her gaze. "What's going on, kiddo?" She froze, blinked hard, then flicked her eyes past me, like she was checking for ghosts. Right then, the front door swung open, and sharp clicks of heels echoed on the hardwood. Her mom's perfume, thick and floral, hit me like a wave before her voice cut through. "Time to roll, sweetie," she chirped, way too perky, like she was auditioning for a sitcom mom. My niece's hand slipped out of mine, cold and limp, and she didn't say a word. Her mother flashed a smile, all teeth and no warmth, her eyes looking like they hadn't slept in days. She yanked her daughter into a hug that felt more like a photo op than love. Then, smooth as a con artist, she pressed a folded paper into my palm, like it was just a grocery list. Her eyes locked onto mine, unblinking, and that's when my stomach did a nosedive. I didn't move until they were gone, until the car's engine faded into nothing, until the silence in the house squeezed my head like a vice. Only then did I unfold the paper. And let me tell you, everything I thought I knew about the world split right down the middle. The handwriting was messy, small, like a kid racing to get the words out before someone caught her. Ink smudges blurred some letters, but every line was clear enough to burn into my brain. "Uncle, home doesn't feel safe. Mommy's friend comes over sometimes and tells me to keep it hush-hush. He makes me sit on his lap, and I hate it." I told Mommy, but she flipped out, said I made it up. She said if I tell anyone, they'll take me away. My breath caught after the third line, not because I doubted her, but because it felt too true. My mind started piecing together all the little things I'd brushed off, how she'd jump at a knock on the door, how she begged to keep the light on at night, that time she spilled juice and sobbed like she'd broken something priceless. Back then, it didn't add up. Now, it was like a puzzle snapping into place, and I couldn't unsee the picture. I didn't pick up the phone yet. You don't charge into a fight without knowing what's waiting. So I started small, casual, like I was just checking in. I called her teacher. "She been acting off lately? Anything weird?" The teacher paused and said, "She's been real quiet, doesn't play with the other kids, and she gets spooked when men raise their voices." Every word felt like a hammer driving nails into my chest. Next, I dug through the drawings she'd left at my place, crayon sketches of houses with no windows, stick figures with eyes scratched out. One had her standing alone in a corner, with "Don't tell, don't tell, don't tell" scrawled in wobbly red loops behind her. My hands shook, but I kept going. I started digging into the guy her mom was seeing. Samuel. Online, he was a ghost. No LinkedIn, no Facebook, nothing. Just a couple of sealed court records from some podunk town, locked up tight by a judge. Sealed doesn't mean erased, though. I found a shady forum, a thread where a mom from another state warned about a guy who sounded a lot like him. No proof, no charges, just whispers. But whispers were enough to make my skin crawl. I had to be sure, so I kept digging until a plain manila envelope showed up at my door. The weight of it felt like a brick in my hands. I didn't want to open it, but I did, slow, like pulling off a bandage you know's going to hurt. Inside were transcripts, digital crumbs, a deleted chat thread tied to Samuel. One photo stopped me cold. There she was, my niece, sitting too close to him on some ugly couch I didn't recognize. She was dressed, thank God, but her eyes, they were wrong, blank, like she'd learned to switch herself off. The timestamp? 3 weeks ago. I printed it, highlighted every damning detail, and then I called her mom. No yelling, no drama, just a time and a place. We met at a greasy spoon diner at noon. She showed up alone, which threw me. Her face didn't flinch when she saw the envelope. I slid it across the table, silent, and watched her open it with hands that shook worse than mine ever did. Her lips moved as she read. No sound, just a quiet kind of horror as the truth started to choke her out. Then came the denial, not in words, but in the way her eyes darted, doing mental gymnastics to make it not real. Finally, She opened her mouth. This ain't. I cut her off with a raised hand, calm but ice cold. Don't even try, Lillian. Her jaw snapped shut. I leaned in, voice low. You're done. Custody papers are filed. Evidence is in. You'll get served tomorrow. Her eyes bugged out. You can't do that, she snapped, all snark and attitude, like she was still in control. Already did, I said flat. Her throat bobbed and she stammered. I didn't know, okay? I stared her down, letting the silence do the work. Nah, I whispered. You just didn't want to know. I stood up, left her there, a total train wreck in that cracked vinyl booth, looking like the queen of denial who just lost her crown. I didn't glance back to see if she was crying. Didn't wait for some half-baked apology. I didn't need it. Some truths don't care if you say sorry. My niece lives with me now, and she's not big on talking, but she doesn't jump anymore when I knock on her door. That's something. Sometimes I lie awake wondering how much damage silence can do to a kid, how long it festers, how deep it cuts. But I don't push her to spill her guts. I just keep the lights on, answer when she calls, and make sure she knows she's safe. That creep? He's gone. And her mom? Well, she learned the hard way. You don't play cover-up for a monster and expect a free pass from the universe.